Welcome to Life Partner by Casey Lee. This is The Dating Files, a segment where we look at real dating situations and the quiet moments that determine whether a relationship grows or slowly fades. Before we begin, a quick note. This podcast is for educational and reflective purposes only. It's not therapy, medical advice, or a substitute for professional care. The cases shared here are anonymous, and some are composites of women I've had the honor of coaching. The goal is to help you recognize patterns more clearly, so you can make decisions that feel aligned with the relationship that you want. Today's situation is one I see quite often. A relationship that feels exciting, engaging, emotionally stimulating, but underneath it, something never quite feels stable. And at first, it's hard to explain why. She met him through mutual friends. Their first date lasted almost 4 hours. The conversation flowed easily. He asked thoughtful questions, and he seemed emotionally open. At one point, the conversation turned toward future plans. They talked about the kind of life they hoped to build someday: marriage, family, and a long-term partnership. And hearing that felt reassuring. It created the sense that they were looking for the same things. And after the date, she thought, finally, someone who wants the same kind of relationship that I do. In the early weeks, the connection felt promising. They texted often. Their conversations were engaging. When they were together, the time passed quickly. Nothing about the connection felt casual. But after a few weeks, something subtle began to happen. Not dramatic, just small things. Plans became a little less defined. Future conversations stayed light. And whenever she tried to talk about the direction of the relationship, he gently shifted the conversation. Nothing clearly wrong, but something didn't quite settle. What made the situation confusing was this. When they were together, everything felt good, warm, connected, interesting. But when they were apart, she often felt uncertain. And that uncertainty made her start questioning herself. Maybe she was overthinking. Maybe she just needed to relax and let things unfold. After all, they had talked about wanting the same things in life. But here's the dynamic that often sits underneath situations like this. Early conversations about life goals reveal values. They tell you whether someone believes in long-term partnership, marriage, or family. But those conversations don't reveal something equally important: readiness. Wanting marriage someday is very different from deciding that you want to build a relationship with the person sitting across from you. And that difference usually becomes visible at a specific moment. The moment when the relationship begins asking for direction. That's when someone has to decide whether they want to move the connection forward or keep it where it is. And when someone consistently avoids defining the relationship, the reason is often simple. They enjoy the connection, but they do not feel a strong enough pull to build something more. Which can be confusing because nothing about the early connection felt casual. The attraction may have been real, the conversations may have been genuine, but enjoying someone's company and wanting to build a relationship with them are two very different things. And one of the clearest indicators of relationship potential is forward movement, not just connection. If you've ever experienced something like this, it does not mean that you misread the situation. It simply means the connection never developed into the kind of intention required to move the relationship forward. If you want to learn more about how to attract a healthy, committed relationship, not just exciting connections, you can watch my free workshop. In the workshop, I walk through the core foundations that help women move toward the kind of partnership they actually want. You can find the workshop link in the episode description. There's also an emotional experience that often happens after situations like this, especially when the connection felt genuine, but the relationship never developed direction. For those of you who want to go a little deeper, quietly, I recorded a private continuation where I talk about what I'd say if you were my client, the part we don't usually talk about publicly, and how to emotionally hold this week. That lives inside the members only podcast feed, and you can learn more in the show notes. This conversation is complete as it is. I'm really glad you're here. Stay steady and stay aligned with the relationship that you want.